Hey there, friends. It is Jasmine Page Moore, aka Mooreamor, and today we have commandeered Vivian's recap show because today we are recapping Prime Video's The Boys. Now, this is a show that is very near and dear to my heart. I've been part of several press and promos, even flew to New York to do one, so I was very excited to have the opportunity to break down this show for you. Now, I'm going to be recapping every episode from Season 1 all the way to Season 3 to prep you for Season 4. The goal being that you can watch this video and say that you watched all the episodes. The Boys. Season 1, Episode 1. In the debut episode of Season 1, we're thrust into the chaotic aftermath of tragedy as Huey Campbell, grapples with the mental anguish of losing his girlfriend Robin in a devastating encounter with the celebrity superhero A-Train. The legal system offers a quick fix with a hefty settlement, but Huey finds himself hesitant to accept, torn between closure and justice. Meanwhile, the bright-eyed Annie January sets her sight on stardom as she auditions for the coveted role within the Seven as Starlight, the Seven being a prestigious superhero group. Little does she know, however, her dreams are about to collide with a dark reality when she encounters the manipulative, the Deep, who exploits her vulnerability in a disturbing display of blackmail. Enter Billy Butcher, the enigmatic vigilante with a bone to pick against the corrupt Supes. He recruits Huey into his crusade, unveiling a world of corruption hidden within a secret Supes club. But when Butcher proposes a risky plan involving espionage at the Seven Tower, Huey initially balks at the idea. Amidst the chaos, fate intervenes as Annie and Huey cross paths in Central Park, finding solace and strength in each other's presence. But their moment of camaraderie is short-lived when Translucent, another member of the Seven, discovers their subterfuge, leading to a tense confrontation that only escalates with Butcher's arrival. As if things couldn't get any more intense, we're thrust into the twisted world of Homelander, the seemingly flawless leader of the Seven, whose ruthless actions reveal a darker underbelly of Vought International. Episode 2. In the second episode, Butcher and Huey enlist the help of a former ally, Frenchie, in an attempt to neutralize the invincible Translucent. Frenchie devises a special bullet to penetrate Translucent's impenetrable skin, but their plan falls short as the bullet fails to deliver the desired result. Meanwhile, Butcher seeks crucial information from CIA Department Director Susan Rayner, but faces refusal when requesting the Mallory files. In another thread of the storyline, Stillwell manipulates Homelander by handing evidence over discovered by the Deep that could implicate him in the plane crash incident. Annie confronts the Deep, firmly warning him against any future attempts at sexual assault. Stillwell, utilizing a shape-shifting soup named Doppelganger, coerces Senator Calhoun into supporting a pivotal vote beneficial to Vault's interests. Annie finds herself embroiled in a disturbing incident where she intervenes to prevent a sexual assault, unaware of her actually being recorded. Her agent, Ashley Barton, admonishes her for the potential negative repercussions and legal ramifications. Amidst the chaos, however, the boys discover Homelander's proximity, preventing them from executing their plan to eliminate Translucent. As Frenchie and Butcher create a diversion, Translucent manages to escape, briefly convincing Huey to let him go. However, Huey ultimately decides to detonate the explosions planted inside Translucent, resulting in his demise. Episode 3. In the third episode, Huey takes a significant step by confiding in his father before moving out. Meanwhile, Annie finds herself in the spotlight after heroically preventing that rape. However, her elation is short-lived as Stillwell insists she don a revealing costume for publicity purposes. Despite Annie's refusal, Stillwell coerces her into compliance under the threat of losing her job. Butcher recruits his old acquaintance Mother's Milk, or MM, to surveil Popclaw, utilizing Huey's expertise as they install spyware on Popclaw's computer, discovering A-Train's use of performance-enhancing drugs called Compound V. Butcher aims to expose this revelation before allowing Supes into the military, necessitating a vial of Compound V from A-Train's upcoming race against Shockwave. Amidst these machinations, Huey and Annie share a vulnerable moment during a lunch outing, fostering a connection between them. Meanwhile, A-Train clandestinely employs Compound V to secure a victory in the race and publicly announces his single status, betraying Popclaw's trust. The situation intensifies when MM uncovers Popclaw's theft of Compound V, leading to the boys to find her in a distraught state, under the influence of the drug, and inadvertently causing fatal harm to her landlord during a hypercharged encounter. Butcher seizes this opportunity to blackmail her into becoming an informant. At Vought headquarters, Homelander delivers translucent remains to Stillwell, accompanied by Butcher's ominous message signaling escalating tensions between the boys and Vought. Episode 4. In the 4th episode, the boys act on a lead from Popclaw, discovering a triad hideout where they encounter a captive Japanese woman known only as the Female. Frenchie frees her, triggering a lethal response from her against the guards before she flees. Investigations reveal her history as a Compound V test subject, deepening the mystery surrounding her. While MM delves into the Female's past, Huey spends time with Annie, unaware that his interactions are under surveillance as per Butcher's instructions. Despite initial reservations, Huey finds himself forming a genuine connection with Annie. With their Compound V supply under threat, A-Train instructs Popclaw to go into hiding while he hunts down the Female. Meanwhile, Stillwell dispatches Homelander and Queen Maeve to handle a hijacked airliner crisis. However, Homelander's reckless actions inadvertently worsen the situation, leading to tragic consequences. Simultaneously, the Deep embarks on a misguided attempt to rescue a dolphin from Oceanland Aquarium, resulting in a disastrous outcome that further tarnishes his reputation. As the Female eliminates an individual tied to her captors, Frenchie pursues her to Penn Station, briefly establishing a connection before losing her amidst the chaos of A-Train's arrival. Frenchie's diversionary tactics allow the Female to escape momentarily, before the boys subdue her with knockout gas. Stillwell capitalizes on the airliner tragedy to advance Vought's agenda for militarized Supes, with Homelander delivering a stirring speech despite Maeve's inner turmoil over the lives lost due to their inaction. Episode 5. During the Believe Expo, Annie receives subtle directives to promote Vought's agenda, while Butcher orchestrates a plan for Huey to utilize her connections to meet Ezekiel, the Expo's host and their next target. Meanwhile, burdened by guilt over the airliner tragedy, Maeve seeks solace with her ex-girlfriend Elena, though she leaves without fully disclosing her feelings. Butcher engaged in a poignant conversation with his sister-in-law Rachel regarding his late wife Becca's memories. The situation escalates when A-Train eliminates Popclaw for her betrayal, stumbling upon surveillance footage of Frenchie in her apartment. Seizing an opportunity, Huey confronts Ezekiel in private, leveraging his position to extract information about Compound V, while Homelander seizes the stage with an impassioned speech to rally the crowd. Annie deviates from her scripted role to candidly address her struggles with Christianity, her past trauma of sexual assault, and the moral compromises demanded by her corporate allegiance. Huey empathizes with her, sharing the story of Robin's tragic death and its profound impact on him. In a startling revelation at the hospital, Butcher and MM uncover Vought's sinister agenda of using Compound V on infants to groom future Supes. Meanwhile, Frenchie finds himself pursued by the formidable Black Noir, prompting a daring escape attempt. Forced to leave the Female behind, Frenchie ultimately shows compassion by releasing her, resulting in a confrontation where she seemingly perishes protecting him, only to miraculously regenerate from her injuries. Episode 6. Now armed with critical information, the boys uncover Vought's intensive history of utilizing super charities to clandestinely distribute Compound V disguised as vaccinations, facilitating the superpowered individual as far back as 1971. Following Ashley's dismissal, Stillwell attempts to assert control over Annie's public image, but Annie defiantly refuses, pointing out that terminating her after reporting a sexual assault would reflect poorly on Vought. Holding the Deep accountable for his actions, Stillwell orchestrates a public apology and relocates him to Sandusky, Ohio, under the guise of a sabbatical. Butcher introduces Huey to a support group for superhuman survivors, but a confrontation ensues when Butcher berates the group for their perceived inaction in seeking justice. Later, Butcher reveals a harrowing truth to Huey, that Homelander raped his wife, who subsequently vanished. Frenchie and MM enlist the help of telepath Mesmer to delve into the Female's memories, uncovering her true identity as Kimiko and her abduction by the Shining Light Liberation Army terrorist organization. They also unearth Vought's alarming scheme to engineer Compound V enhanced terrorists to further the agenda of militarizing Supes. Butcher delves this damning evidence to Raynor, but their collaboration hits a roadblock when she refuses to target Homelander. Mesmer, under pressure, provides Homelander with some incriminating evidence surveillance photos of the boys' escalating tensions. Meanwhile, Butcher warns Huey against developing any emotional attachments to Annie, threatening to expose his involvement with Translucent should he continue to associate with her. Episode 7. Huey and Annie finally do the dirty at a hotel, oblivious to Butcher's watchful eye. Meanwhile, the Deep struggles with his despondency in his new assignment and becomes the victim of sexual assault by an obsessive fan. During a pivotal meeting, Homelander accuses Starlight of complicity in the boys' schemes, but Maeve shuts that down real quick. A tense situation escalates when Atrian contacts Huey claiming to have his father captive. Suspecting betrayal, the boys realize Mesmer's treachery, leading Butcher to enact a lethal retribution. Huey orchestrates a daring plan involving Compound V to thwart Atrian's pursuit and allow Kimiko to incapacitate him. In a bid for answers, Homelander confronts Vought scientist Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum regarding Becca's fate, learning of her pregnancy with his child, and the company's subsequent cover-up. Vogelbaum, remorseful for his role in Homelander's upbringing, acknowledges him as his greatest failure. Butcher strikes a deal with Raynor to safeguard Huey and MM's families in exchange for crucial evidence. However, their plan takes a startling turn when Raynor moves to indict Stillwell and Vought, unveiling the existence of superhuman terrorist Naquib. Annie confronts Huey seeking clarification on Vaught's utilization of Compound V, only to be met with Butcher's sudden arrival and a shocking act of violence. Episode 8. In the climactic season finale, the Pentagon designates Compound V as a controlled substance, casting the boys as fugitives. While Annie grapples with family conflicts, a wounded and incensed Atrian experiencing racial profiling succumbs to a relapse with Compound V. Butcher leads Huey to Colonel Grace Mallory seeking her assistance. Despite her refusal to join the cause, Mallory divulges crucial information about Homelander's ties to Stillwell and cautions Huey about Butcher's thirst for revenge. Struggling with rejection from the Seven, the Deep undergoes a tumultuous emotional unraveling. Huey implores Annie for aid, but her lingering distrust leads to refusal. Maeve finds solace in a heart-to-heart with Annie, encouraging her to embrace authenticity. Meanwhile, Homelander confesses to Stillwell his clandestine creation of super-terrorists, culminating in a shocking intimacy between them. Amidst the turmoil, Frenchie, Huey, and MM orchestrate a daring rescue mission at a black site, liberating Kimiko with Annie's unexpected assistance. Atrian's arrival sparks a harrowing confrontation with Annie, resulting in a life-threatening heart attack. Huey springs into action, but Annie takes over efforts to facilitate Huey's escape. Butcher seizes Stillwell as a hostage, employing her as bait for Homelander. However, the situation spirals when Homelander intervenes, ultimately dispatching Stillwell himself. Butcher attempts to detonate explosives, and it ends in a surprising turn when Homelander saves him, unveiling a startling revelation about Becca's hidden truth and the son she raised in secret. And that brings us to Season 2. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe so that others can enjoy the recaps as much as you have today. And without further ado, Season 2, Episode 1. In a high-level meeting with the Secretary of Defense, Vought CEO Stan Edgar discusses the integration of Supes into the military. Meanwhile, Homelander presides over a somber funeral for Translucent, attended by Translucent's grieving family, including his son, Maverick. Across the nation, the boys observe their continued status as wanted criminals plastered across the media, prompting a tense discussion on what their next move should be, whether to flee, expose Compound V to the public, or remain in hiding. Annie seeks out Greco, a former associate from her Capes for Christ days, now employed at a Vought laboratory. She covertly records him engaging in illicit dealings, then casually approaches him at a diner to request a risky favor, obtaining a sample of Compound V from Vought's laboratory on 67th Street. During a meeting with Susan Raynor, the boys deny knowledge of Butcher's whereabouts and provide descriptions of the Supe terrorists. Raynor suspects Vought International's involvement, labeling it an inside coup. Shockingly, her sudden death leaves the boys covered in blood, fleeing in panic. Episode 2. Butcher meticulously studies notes, recalling Becca's residence, intent on locating her. Meanwhile, the boys find themselves holed up in a hideout, where Kimiko desperately communicates with Frenchie, though her message still remains cryptic. Starlight attempts to secure Atrian's silence regarding her assistance to Huey, leveraging the life-saving CPR she administered to him. However, doubts linger amongst the boys, especially Huey, regarding Atrian's trustworthiness. Under the influence of drugs, the Deep engages in surreal conversation with his gills, seeking validation and love, while Kimiko encounters a member of the terrorist group who abducted her. Amidst the chaos, Kimiko's brother Kenji utilizes his power to incapacitate the boys. Starlight confronts Stormfront, asserting her worth beyond Stormfront's perceptions. A-Train, harboring his own secrets, threatens to expose damning truths, prompting a chilling response from Stormfront regarding his past actions. Episode 3. The boys find themselves aboard a yacht navigating the vast ocean. Kimiko shares a tender moment with her brother, pledging to protect him if necessary. Meanwhile, a screenwriter pitches a storyline for the upcoming Dawn of the Seven movie, only to face Stormfront's scathing criticism of its sexist portrayal of women. As Starlight watches the news with optimism, A-Train confronts her, sensing her involvement in secretive endeavors. In an effort to understand Kimiko, Frenchie engages with her brother, who reveals the intricacy of their unique sign language. A tranquil ocean voyage takes a perilous turn as the boys encounter a shark-infested chase orchestrated by the Deep. Escaping to the shore, they confront the Deep atop a massive whale. In a daring maneuver, Butcher maneuvers the yacht, colliding with the whale and incapacitating the Deep. A-Train's pursuit is hindered by escalating health issues, prompting a confrontation between Starlight and Huey, interrupted by the ominous arrival of Homelander. Amidst the chaos, Kimiko intervenes by protecting her brother, triggering a devastating showdown, resulting in tragedy. Episode 4. Mallory provides Butcher with crucial intel on a mysterious superhero named Liberty and reveals Becca's whereabouts. Despite Butcher's daring infiltration to rescue Becca, she adamantly refuses to leave, citing his rejection of their son, Ryan. Black Noir uncovers Butcher's covert operations, escalating the danger. Under Homelander's menacing influence, Annie joins forces with Huey and MM to unearth the truth behind Liberty's identity. Their investigation unveils shocking revelations. Liberty is none other than Stormfront, implicated in a racially charged murder decades earlier. Homelander's warning over the situation prompts drastic measures, including the removal of A-Train from the Seven and the public exposure of Maeve's relationship with Elena. Amidst the turmoil, Frenchie grapples with the revelation that his protective instincts towards Kimiko stems from guilt over his past transgressions. Meanwhile, the Church of the Collective orchestrates the Deep's involvement in an arranged marriage, further entangling him in their enigmatic web. Episode 5. Protests erupt against Homelander following the emergence of a damning video showing him lethally engaging two civilians. Stormfront swiftly intervenes, aiding Homelander in a strategic bid to reclaim public favor, culminating in a romantic entanglement between the two. Butcher, grappling with the failure to rescue Becca, contemplates retirement at his Aunt Judy's residence, prompting Huey and MM to intervene. Their plans are disrupted when they come under attack by Black Noir, but Butcher leverages Edgar to halt the assault by threatening to expose critical information about Ryan. Annie uncovers Stormfront's clandestine dealings with Edgar concerning the Sage Grove psychiatric facility, sparking a heated confrontation over Annie's revelation of the Compound V to the public. Meanwhile, Maeve confides in Elena about her secret scheme to orchestrate Homelander's downfall, enlisting the unlikely aid of the Deep in her endeavors. Episode 6. Infiltrating Sage Grove, MM, Frenchie, and Kimiko uncover a harrowing reality of captive Compound V patients. A tense encounter ensues when Frenchie recognizes an orderly as the former Seven member, Lamplighter, leading to chaos as patients seize the opportunity to break free. Forced into an uneasy alliance for survival, the boys glean crucial information from Lamplighter regarding Vought's sinister experiments aimed at stabilizing Compound V in adult subjects. Their efforts lead them to Mallory, who contemplates vengeance against Lamplighter for the loss of her grandchildren until Frenchie persuades her to show mercy, citing Lamplighter's remorse. Stormfront divulges her unsettling origins to Homelander, revealing herself as the first successful Compound V subject and the widow of Vought's founder, Frederick Vought. Meanwhile, Maeve obtains damning footage of Homelander's callous abandonment of a hijacked airliner, intending to wield it as leverage against him. Amidst the chaos, a violent patient named Cindy emerges Sage Grove while A-Train finds himself ensnared in the manipulative grasp of the Church of the Collective. Episode 7. In the pivotal 7th episode, Congresswoman Victoria Newman initiates a critical hearing targeting Vought, with former Soup lamplighter set to testify as the key witness. Facing exposure after Vought discovers Annie's betrayal, Huey orchestrates a daring rescue mission with lamplighter's reluctant assistance, resulting in a tragic sacrifice as lamplighter immolates himself. Annie narrowly escaping with the unexpected aid of Maid, who confronts Black Noir. Undeterred by the loss, Butcher coerces Vought scientist Jonah Vogenbaum into providing damning testimony against the corporation. However, chaos erupts when the hearing is besieged by the same assassin responsible for Rainer's demise, claiming Vogenbaum's life among others. Where else, Homelander and Stormfront manipulate Becca's son Ryan into leaving her, while A-Train grows weary of the Church of the Collective. Maeve's relationship with Elena crumbles under the weight of her perceived failure to save the hijacked airliner. Episode 8. In the climactic 8th and final episode, armed with knowledge of Ryan's capture, Butcher strikes a deal with Edgar to retrieve him, only to betray the agreement in a desperate attempt to rescue Becca and Ryan from Stormfront's clutches. A heart-wrenching confrontation ensues, leading to Ryan inadvertently unleashing his powers on Stormfront, resulting in Becca's tragic demise. Finding unexpected solidarity with Butcher, Ryan's allegiances shift, while Maeve leverages damning footage to compel Homelander's compliance. With Stormfront's dark past exposed, Edgar abandons plans to exploit Compound V, clearing the boys of all charges and reinstating Annie into the Seven. However, amidst these victories, turmoil ensues as A-Train is reinstated while the Deep is excluded, only for tragedy to strike once more as the assassin targets Adriana. As CIA takes custody of Ryan, Huey unknowingly embarks on a new chapter working under Newman, unaware of her hidden agenda as the assassin. I know that was a lot, but we are almost there. There is only one more season to go, so here we go. Season 3, Episode 1. A year following the Stormfront scandal, the boys find themselves working under Victoria Newman's Bureau of Superhero Affairs, tasked with apprehending renegade Supes. Huey Campbell serves as their liaison in this new endeavor. Meanwhile, Stan Edgar, seeking to restore Vought International's tarnished reputation, appoints Annie January, now publicly involved with Huey, as co-captain of the Seven. In a bid to secure government support, Edgar attempts to pitch V-24, a variant of Compound V offering temporary superpowers, to the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Robert Singer, but his efforts prove futile. Queen Maeve covertly collaborates with Billy Butcher, tasking him with investigating Payback, a defunct superhero team whose leader, Soldier Boy, met a mysterious demise. She entrusts Butcher with several vials of V-24, pondering its potential use as a weapon against Homelander. During an encounter with a man named Tony, purportedly Newman's close associate, Huey grows suspicious upon hearing her referred to as Nadia. Following them into an alley, Huey witnesses a violent altercation in which Newman displays her lethal powers, inadvertently revealing her true nature. Episode 2. As the boys delve into circumstances surrounding Soldier Boy's death, Huey embarks on a covert mission to Red River, an orphanage housing superpowered children, to uncover Newman's connection to Stan Edgar. Frenchie and Kimiko pursue Soldier Boy's widow, Crimson Countess, at a Vought theme park, resulting in a chaotic confrontation that leaves an innocent bystander dead. Upon discovering Newman's lineage from Huey, Butcher decides to utilize V-24, eliminating Soldier Boy's former sidekick, Gunpowder. Before perishing, Gunpowder reveals vital information about Soldier Boy's demise in Nicaragua, implicating Colonel Grace Mallory in the CIA. Mother's Milk reunites with the boys, driven by a quest for vengeance against Soldier Boy for the death of his family. As revelations unfold, Homelander's feudal ego crumbles during a televised birthday celebration, leading to a volatile outburst and assertion of martyrdom against the backdrop of international strife within Vought. Episode 3. Amidst escalating tension, Homelander's popularity amongst the rural white Democrats skyrockets following his fiery speech, affording him a momentary reprieve from Vought scrutiny. With newfound confidence, Homelander coerces Starlight into a public facade of affection and reinstates the disgrace deep into the Seven. Starlight, deeply concerned for her ex-boyfriend, Alex, aka Supersonic Safety, employs him to refrain from joining, but he reluctantly complies to support her. Mallory reveals a haunting revelation to the boys about Payback's tragic past. That Payback was deployed to assist the CIA against communists in Nicaragua during the Cold War, but were ambushed during an attack by Russians and Nicaraguan soldiers that left Black Noir mutilated and Soldier Boy missing in action, supposedly killed by the Russian superweapon, fueling Butcher's rage and prompting him to seek assistance from his former contact. Episode 4. In a daring exchange with Nina, Butcher secures the boys' passage to Russia in exchange for a perilous assassination job. Huey, driven by determination, covertly administers V-24 to gain an edge in their mission. Inside the clandestine laboratory, they uncover a startling revelation. Soldier Boy is still alive, but altered by Russian experimentation. Amidst the chaos, Kimiko sustains an injury and Soldier Boy manages to escape. Suspecting deeper machinations behind the Russian experiments, Butcher and the boys grapple with their extent of the conspiracy. Meanwhile, Newman's political maneuvering takes a bold turn as she implicates Edgar in corruption, prompting Homelander's retaliatory gesture of providing her with Compound V. Starlight, amongst Maeve and Supersonic, confronts Homelander only to face betrayal and tragedy as Supersonic falls victim to Homelander's ruthless wrath. A-Train's treacherous revelation to Homelander threatens to fracture their tenuous alliances, plunging the group into deeper turmoil. Episode 5. As Kimiko recuperates in the hospital, relieved to discover she lost her powers, she shares a tender moment with Frenchie, culminating in a kiss. However, their newfound connection is short-lived as Frenchie is abducted by Nina. Meanwhile, Huey grapples with confessing his V-24 usage to a disappointed Starlight. Maeve, grappling with her own demons, offers Butcher another batch of V-24 before engaging in a night of passion with him. However, their tryst is interrupted as Noir and Homelander apprehend Maeve. In the wake of Edgar's departure, Ashley Barton assumes the role of Vought CEO. Elsewhere, tensions escalate within the superhero community as A-Train urges Blue Hawk to issue a public apology for his excessive use of force, only for the situation to spiral out of control, resulting in chaos and collateral damage, including injuries to A-Train's own brother, Nathan. Soldier Boy's return to America triggers a series of events, prompting the boys to intervene as they learn of his vendetta against the Crimson Countess. In a surprising turn, Butcher contemplates a partnership with Soldier Boy, leading Huey to join them, despite Starlight's objections. Episode 6. The revelation of Soldier Boy's violent action sends shockwaves through the community, prompting Noir to sever ties with the Seven and vanish. Nina's machinations escalate as she kidnaps Kimiko and Frenchie's former partner, Cherie, presenting Frenchie with a chilling ultimatum. However, Kimiko manages to break free, unleashing her formidable skills to thwart Nina's henchmen. Newman, unveiling her powers to Starlight in a private exchange, proposes an alliance, but Starlight hesitates to commit. Butcher and Huey find themselves entangled in Soldier Boy's quest for vengeance, agreeing to aid him in exchange for his assistance against Homelander. The convergence of various factions at the TNT Twins' residence sets the stage for a dramatic showdown during the annual Herogasm event. Amidst revelations of betrayal and vendettas, Soldier Boy accidentally discharges power, triggers a catastrophic explosion, and there is devastating loss. Homelander manages to evade capture, leaving the group fractured and disillusioned. A-Train's use of his power proves fatal as he succumbs to heart failure, while a disillusioned Annie takes a bold stand, denouncing the corruption within Vought and the superhero community in a defiant live stream. Episode 7. Taking refuge in an abandoned Buster Beaver's pizza restaurant, Noir finds solace in the company of his imaginary friends, the mascots of the pizzeria franchise. Amidst reenactments of his past traumas, including his betrayal by Soldier Boy and the subsequent ambush by Payback, Noir confronts his inner demons. Meanwhile, A-Train experiences a miraculous recovery after receiving a heart transplant from Blue Hawk. Butcher, Huey, and Soldier Boy embark on a mission to locate Mindstorm, whose psychic abilities prove to be formidable. However, Mindstorm ensnares Butcher in a labyrinth of painful memories, forcing Huey to negotiate for his release. Despite their efforts, Mindstorm meets a grim fate at the hands of Soldier Boy. Annie uncovers a startling revelation about V24, discovering its lethal effects after multiple doses. As tensions escalate, Homelander confronts Annie regarding her bold live stream, leading to a confrontation where Annie exposes Homelander's crimes to the world. Meanwhile, Frenchie administers Compound V to Kimiko, restoring her powers and healing her injuries. Despite Annie's warnings, Butcher chooses to withhold the truth about V24 from Huey. In a shocking revelation, Soulja Boy reaches out to Homelander, revealing a familiar connection that sends shockwaves through their tumultuous relationship. And finally, Episode 8. Homelander finds solace in uniting with Ryan, reconciling their fractured bond. Meanwhile, Butcher, unwilling to endanger Huey any further, makes the difficult decision to distance himself from the group. Huey seeks solace in a heartfelt apology to Annie, while Maeve orchestrates her escape from Vought's clutches, joining forces with Huey, Annie, and MM. Amidst escalating tensions, Homelander confronts Noir for concealing the truth about Soulja Boy's lineage, resulting in a fatal confrontation. Butcher and Soulja Boy form an unlikely alliance with the boys, Annie, and Maeve, intent on confronting Homelander. However, their plans are derailed when Soulja Boy's aggression spirals out of control, leading to a chaotic battle. In a desperate bid to protect Ryan, Maeve sacrifices herself, allowing Homelander to escape with his son. The public mourns Maeve's apparent sacrifice, unaware of her continued existence. Meanwhile, Butcher's health deteriorates due to his use of V24, while Annie aligns herself with the boys. Soulja Boy is apprehended by government authorities, making a new chapter in the ongoing struggle for power amongst the Supes. As Singer selects Newman as his running mate for presidential campaign, Homelander's ruthless actions at the rally underscore the volatile nature of the Supes' influence on society.
While Gen V is an exciting parallel to the real-world NCAA corruption that is also farming future Homelanders of America, there were a few important notes that I do want you to take away from the season that will inevitably show up in Season 4 of The Boys. The Dean of God U has been using the college as a front for an underground lab called The Woods, where she has created a contagious virus to kill Supes. And she was testing that out on students to eventually release on the masses. And lastly, the heroes of that story, Gen V, and students of color have been blamed for a mass execution at the college, while also being made notorious criminals by Vought. The school is now left with the whitest and most damaged students as the heroes of God U.
Well, there you have it. That is the recap of all 24 episodes of The Boys, starting from Season 1 all the way to Season 3. And Season 4 comes out June 13th, 2024. So make sure that if you like this video, you let me know by hitting that heart. And if you like videos like this, make sure that you subscribe because we've got several more videos coming out of new and upcoming shows. Until then, again, my name is Jasmine Page Moore, aka Mooreamor, and I'll see you for the next one.